So, with the recent announcement of the Chaotic reboot, a lot of people are suddenly asking, what even was Chaotic? And that question makes me feel a little bit old because I remember vaguely this coming out. I missed out on it the first time around, which is why I don't have like the physical cards. But for a while in the mid 2000s, Chaotic was even competing with like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic. It had a card game, a TV show, an online game, tournaments, collectibles, and even probably the most ambitious ideas the genre had at the time. But due to a number of factors, it kind of faded over time and eventually just vanished altogether. Only for just this year, a reboot to be announced. Before we talk about it, I'll give you like a brief history before we talk about the actual game. Chaotic actually started like long before the 2006 version that we all know in the 1990s with a collectible toy line called Draco Heads. It did have a card game, but then its sequel, Draco Heads, Girls and Gorks, got like the first card game iteration that you began to see some of the DNA in 2000 of the mechanics that would eventually become Chaotic. And then 2001, we got Chaotic Now or Never, which was the first true like proto-Chaotic. It was the first full version of a card game with the mechanics, world building, factions, and overall direction that would finally become what we recognize as Chaotic today, which came out in 2006. This is the one that everyone knows and loves. It received a major redesign and relaunch, and at the time, it was the first true multimedia trading card game. It very tightly combined its physical card game with the show and online game, and kind of made it a whole giant experience. And this was headed up in North America by 4Kids and Chaotic USA. And for kids in the 2000s, this concept was genius. The show had the general hook of what if the card game you were playing was actually real? Like that was the whole hook. And the TV show followed a group. So the TV show followed a group of players who used scanner codes to enter Chaotic, a digital hub world connected to the real living world of Param. Inside of Param, players could scan locations, creatures, battle gear, music, and locations, and then bring them back into Chaotic for competitive battles. And this was the part that made the game feel revolutionary at the time. Every physical card that was printed had a unique code you could enter online to unlock an exact copy of it in the online game. The first real life collection to digital collection conversion that we had seen, and this was years before Pokemon or Magic did anything like this. Now today it sounds obvious, but at the time no one was. Now Param, in both the game and the show, surrounds kind of four major factions: the Overworlders, the Underworlders, the Danians, and the Mypedians. All of them fought over an ancient power source called the Kothika. Then later, the aquatic Marillions invaded Para and basically became the game's fifth major tribe, completely changing the storyline. One of the best things about Chaotic was that it didn't really feel like the big three card games at the time, which was Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic. It honestly felt more like a miniature skirmish war game translated into card game form. Players usually used 5 different card types. Creatures, these are your classic creature cards. They contain stats and elements and magic points that determined how everything else worked in the game. These were your actual like fighters and team members that you'd build like a little mini army out of. Then there was battle gear, which was your weapons and armor. You would equip these to customize each creature, which allowed you to make sure that your deck didn't quite function the same as like the mirror match that you were fighting. Attack cards were the actual moves, like individually, that your creatures would do during combat. And then there was music, which was a unique fusion of magic and music that could change the flow of battle. These are your one-off spells. And finally, location cards. These determined priority and also affected stats and abilities, which allows strategies to kind of get broken up and evolve as the game went forward. Everything revolved around your creatures, and all these systems interacted together very tightly. Movement between locations, positioning, timing, and resource management, these were all additional, kind of built on top of it. It all made the game feel way more tactical than most card games did at the time. And that uniqueness is why so many people still remember it today. Unfortunately, the exact thing that made Chaotic special also made it extremely expensive to maintain. The online infrastructure alone was very expensive for the late 2000s. Not only did they need servers for online gameplay, but every physical card printed was also connected to a code inside of that database for it to be redeemed properly. This caused costs to balloon quickly, and at the exact same time, 4Kids Entertainment itself was starting to struggle financially. The company was losing dominance over anime localization, especially due to piracy, which would later become Crunchyroll, and merchandise distribution, while competition in the trading card game market became increasingly brutal. Then by around 2010, feature sets were being stalled and delayed, organized play weekend, updates slowed dramatically to the website, and the online game started fading away. And then eventually it got shut down completely when the killing blow came in the form of 4Kids Entertainment collapsing financially. Without that infrastructure and support system, Chaotic basically went dormant, and by 2014, the online game was shut down, organized play was gone, and the card production had ended completely. Chaotic was dead, but the fan base kind of kept it alive via card databases and archived episodes. Unlike many dead card games which crash in value, this caused the Chaotic cards to still maintain a surprisingly active collector market today and causes the price to stay up online. And all that just goes to show how passionate the fan base still is. And just like Gondor winning its king, the fans waited for over a decade. For years, original creator Brian Gannon insisted Chaotic was not completely dead. But after so many rumors were proven false, and a lot of fans kind of lost hope. Then in May of this year, something happened. Chaotic officially announced its return in a partnership with Panini America and Chaotic Entertainment. This alone gave the reboot more credibility than previous rumors, as Panini is one of the largest sports card distributors in the world. This wasn't just some tiny fan revival anymore, this was real. And according to Brian Gannon, this is not simply a reprint of the older sets. It's like a full reboot, a full relaunch. Instead, it's being described as a full reimagining of the Chaotic gameplay experience. The goal appears to be modernizing the game while still preserving the core identity that fans remember, and the reboot is being built around three major pillars: a new physical card game, organized play, and a brand new online experience, which is going to be a lot more comprehensive and on one website than I believe it was previously. The online system is planned to function as a progressive web app, or PWA, meaning that there will be no platform restrictions and no need to download an app from the App Store, and it'll have easier updates since it's all in one place, and instantly from the get-go it will have support for smartphones and tablets. Plans for a fully playable game with deck building and online play are already in the works. This is very promising, and even the original animated series is being remastered and is currently live on their website. I'll link that below for y'all if y'all are interested. People are getting really excited, including myself, to see the return, although there are still major questions, such as the big one right now with my last video: can it last? At launch, Chaotic was ahead of its time, but nowadays physical to digital integration is becoming very normal. The reboot is entering a very different market than the original. And then there's the big concern, which is, will it feel like Chaotic? Is it going to be too different? Some fans are worried about modernization and streamlining, but at the same time, I think this could be a good thing, as the old one had some onboard issues. I think kind of streamlining the learning process could help attract players to the game, but we need to make sure that we don't alienate the old players by having too much of a different feel. Can this compete in the modern market is the biggest concern, because the trading card game market is in a very brutal state. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, One Piece, all of them are going strong, and there are hundreds of others, such as Lorcana, that have come up to try and capitalize on the trading card game craze. So the market is heavily saturated, and Chaotic is trying to relaunch during a time in which the market is more saturated than ever, the most saturated I've seen in my lifetime in the hobby. This isn't just the one-off where everything had a card game, but it was just at Walmart. This is at the game store, everyone's trying to get them in there. But regardless of what happens next, Chaotic is still one of the most ambitious card games I've ever seen. It incorporated multimedia gameplay and storytelling into a card game, nothing like had been seen at the time, and it caught before the rest of the market caught the idea, and featured truly unique gameplay that I think still holds up, especially in a market full of clones and derivative formulaic games. Chaotic is finally coming back and could easily be the breath of fresh air that we need right now. But what do you think of it? Can Chaotic survive its second chance? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos, such as my last one on similar interests. Until next time, this is Nate, otherwise known as Lord Thrash. Peace out.